Welcome to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Every week, you can have the conversations you've always wanted to have about the films you love.
Shut up!
We're gonna get you. Not another peep. Kinda
Get rid of your distractions and prepare yourself.
Fold and lock your door. 5, 6, crucifix.
You got a big surprise coming to you. You're not going anywhere.
Welcome, everybody, to the Cult Classic Horror Show. Danny Bonin here with you.
Scotty Bonin with you guys.
We are the Blood Brothers. And... Huh?
Yes! And he's here!
He's back.
Back in action. Yeah, baby.
Carmelo Chimera.
The Robert
Carmelo
O'Neill.
Chimera.
The Robert
Okay,
O'Neill.
let's wrap this up, guys.
This is how I wanted to start the episode, actually.
It's Saturday night football. I got to go see the Bucks tomorrow. Can't be.
Oh,
up
yeah.
I actually
Bucks
want to do a
49ers.
redo
Come on,
because this is how I wanted to start the episode.
Yeah, that was scary.
Is this that movie?
Yeah, that's the one. Did you watch
it?
The Ring instead? Because they came out around the same time and they look the same.
And
I
then
didn't watch either.
He's behind me. Fuck. I see black
Didn't
hair on
watch
my
either of
curtains.
them.
You know what?
I watched that new Nick Frost movie on Shudder about the evil cab driver.
Well, you'll have to tell us about that at the end because I'm not even sure what you're talking about.
Ooh. Yeah.
It just
I
came
already
out on Shudder. It's pretty good.
I already told the boys this, but I'm sipping on a nice peaty glass of Lafroig. For those of you not watching on YouTube,
I got some Johnny Walker Red.
I have Hibiki Suntory whiskey.
name the whiskey.
And
at the
Rob
beginning,
has his Stanley
Ice water.
race sticker. Ice
though.
water.
I got some water too. I got you gotta wash it down.
Hell yeah.
Well, I do that noise because we were talking about The Grudge,
The Grudge.
and I know what you're thinking because I saw this I think in high school. What year did this come out?
That noise
2004.
just scared the shit out of my dogs.
Yeah.
Did it?
Did
It had
it?
to be like 2002.
2002? Yeah.
2004.
I think
2004. Okay.
Yep.
So
it's
yes,
now-
they remade it in 2020, which I almost watched on accident while I was
yes.
looking for this.
We went and watched it with our friend Jamie Mitchell. Remember, we saw it with her and a few.
Is
other
that who we
people.
saw it with?
Yep,
I
we
did see it in theaters.
Theaters.
I will call it cult classic. It's been 20 years. It reminds me of a
Dude.
younger childhood of mine. Not young childhood.
That's the year we graduated. So it's we were just getting out of high school.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And I remember it being pretty scary when I saw it. I think
Yeah.
when it came out, there wasn't much else out quite like it, except for I think The Ring was just before this, right?
Yeah.
Just before this. I think The Ring started the let's remake Japanese horror,
horror.
which is the blueprint for what you guys and I have always been talking about the last couple
Totally.
of episodes is the 2000s era of
Yeah.
haunted paranormal movies. But movies like this are the reason that became commercially viable.
Totally.
Yeah.
Started with The Ring in 2002, and then this came in 2004, and then that's kind of when.
Right.
Then Ring 2.
They have the same. They have the same coloring. They have the same tone. They have the same vibe. They have similar looking antagonists. So yeah, it's very. That's why takes you back.
Ring
Rob,
is not.
you like The Ring, right? Rob, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's.
What about The Grudge?
It's
Do you
okay.
like The Grudge?
I think The Grudge.
Which one's better?
I think The Grudge edges The Ring out just a little bit, only because of Sarah Michelle Gellar.
yeah.
I take
But
Naomi Watts over Sarah Michelle Gellar any day of the week.
Yeah, that's
Well,
a tough one.
That's why you're wrong. And
You know
that's
what?
okay.
Sarah Michelle Gellar is
But,
there if you want a hand job at the movie theater, and Naomi Watts is there if you want a mature woman to just show you. what's
but I mean,
Absolutely,
yes.
have children.
Sarah Michelle Gellar, she's she's married to Freddie Prinze.
Yeah,
happy.
That's true.
Like the last 30 years.
Yeah.
So I think, then Naomi Watts basically tried to become relevant. And then people were like, you're just a garbage actor. And she just disappeared after The Ring, too. I'm sure she'll pop up on a Showtime series eventually.
Rob just likes Michelle Gellar because he wants to get close to Freddie Prinze Jr.
That's true.
I like both. They're both great.
Did I tell you I met Freddie Prinze Jr. At Comic-Con last year? I wanted him to sign my 24 poster, but he notoriously hated 24 and Kiefer Sutherland. And so when I gave him the poster, I apologized. I said, listen, I know you didn't have the best experience on the show, but I really liked it. And he goes, oh, no worry, man. No one had a good experience on that show. I hate this fucking guy. It was like you read about these grudges, but you think, come on, no one's really going to be like that. He was super.
He brought it up. He talked about it.
Naomi Watts is 56 and Sarah Michelle Gellar is 47. So they got
oh my God. Now that made me feel old. That makes me feel old.
Dude,
that's pretty rough.
47?
We grew up watching Sarah Michelle Gellar and she was obviously like I Know We Did Last Summer, Cruel Intentions, Scream 2.
Wow.
And there's Buffy the Vampire Slayer, obviously. So but Naomi Watts, King Kong. I watched that recently with Jack Black. That was pretty good.
Well, after watching this, I actually watched it with commentary. I didn't quite sneak in a reviewing. I have seen it many times though.
Yes.
So I have the DVD. I just busted out with commentary, watched all the features, and it did shift in my mind a little bit to when it came out. I thought it was this big budget horror thing, Sarah Michelle Gellar, produced by Sam Raimi. And after learning more about it, it really was a smaller project with awesome people having a lot of fun. Although Sam Raimi wasn't on set, which would really bum me out if I was in the movie,
Yeah, that would have.
Yeah, he wasn't there, huh?
Yeah.
He just produced.
Yeah, him and Rob Tamper. Obviously, Ted Raimi's in it. So he's right there, front and center.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's jump into her.
Let's do it.
Carmelo, I always forget. Let's do the synopsis. So Carmelo, for those of you that need a refresher on what happens in The Grudge, Carmelo is going to provide that.
That's exactly right. So The Grudge opens up. The Grudge is cool because it jumps around storylines a little bit. So I'll try to break it down for you, the order they give it to us, but it's not chronological. So we see a man kill himself to kick the movie off with a bang. We're not really sure why. It's the president from Independence Day, Bill Pullman.
Heck yeah.
President Whitmore kills himself, and the story moves to a small home where an old woman suffering from dementia is being cared for in Japan, and her caretaker is murdered by some entity that lives in the house. And Sarah Michelle Gellar is an American living in Japan who is sent to replace her or to fill in for her, only to find a small Japanese boy like locked in a closet and like taped up in a closet there. But when the police arrive,
in Japan. Yes, as you do in China.
That's what you do when you punish your kids.
You go to Airbnb in China, you see a little Japanese boy locked in a closet. Yeah.
So
the closet is the Japanese Burt Young.
The closet itself is yes.
Okay.
Well, this whole movie is Japanese Burt Young, as you find out in the ending. But it turns out there's no little boy. It turns out this house is super haunted. This family had recently moved in with their elderly mother, and all of them were beset upon by some ghost of a woman and her son, and apparently a ghost cat. And they all end up dead. They're found dead in the attic after we get their story. And then, Sarah Michelle Gellar is trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And so she investigates. Turns out there was a murder at the house. And you find out the dude who kills himself at the beginning was having an affair with the woman who lived there. And she was super crazy pants obsessed with him. And then when her husband found out, he was also super crazy pants and drowned the cat, drowned the kid. Not exactly clear how he killed her, but you might have stabbed her to death and wrapped her up in plastic and buried her in the attic. And Bill Pullman's character either killed himself because he was the first one getting haunted, or from guilt because he finds all their dead bodies. Yeah. Sarah Michelle Gellar burns the house down because, you know what, in Japan, it turns out if like you die when you're really angry or sad, it's like a curse, and it's like attached. It kind of runs with the land, kind of like a liquor license in Illinois runs with the land. And so they're like, "Oh, burn the fucking house down," which helps nothing at all because, of course, we get our final jump scare. The ghost is still out there. Anyone who comes anywhere near that house, that ghost is just cursed on you like white on sushi rice for the rest of your life.
Once you walk through that
pretty
gate,
good. I kind of wish I would have watched it.
Yeah.
It was. There's some genuinely. I guess if we move into first impressions, there are some genuinely cool visuals, all of which I'm sure were ripped off the Japanese version. I think that's probably what they adapted was some of the iconic imagery of like the woman under the sheet is great, or the kid looking through the bars or the stairs or the way he screams is great. And I thought the movie was scary. I liked the way they told the story. The only thing I didn't like is this movie lacks a clear, strong protagonist. It's got Sarah Michelle Gellar, but she has no real story to speak of. She has no motivation or character arc, which, is fine if you just want to see scary shit. It's a great ghost movie, but it stopped me from really connecting with it and caring really if anybody lived or died. Like this one woman, she's barely there at all. Her brother moves in, and she's the one with the famous scene where she gets like dragged under the sheets. And that's probably the best sequence actually in the whole movie. She gets like followed home from work and all that. That's all very scary. And she's a nice lady. She's not like one of those bitchy characters where you kind of want her to die. She does nothing wrong to anybody. But I still didn't care if she lived because I didn't know shit about her. I didn't care shit about her.
Yeah, you didn't develop a story for her. Yeah.
Yeah, she's on her way home from work. They don't even bother to tell you where she works. Like you just don't connect with these characters. But is it spooky? Is it fun? Absolutely. So Grudge, I give it a positive review for that reason. But I like The Ring better because The Ring does have a stronger, through line.
Well, The Ring would be better if only they would have murdered that whiny kid slowly and on screen.
Oh, they don't murder him, huh? That's right.
Nope. They give the little bitch a sequel. He's even more whiny in that one.
God.
What do you think? Well, I guess we've sort of heard about The Grudge from you, Rob. What do you think about The Grudge overall?
Yeah, it's I remember when it came out and everybody it's terrifying. And I mean, it has one, I guess, mediocre kind of jump scare if you're scared of tiny Asian children, which, I'm not.
Who isn't?
So,
yeah. Make a body.
I mean, but like Carmelo said, the story really doesn't make a lot of sense. There really isn't there's not really a character you care about in the entire film. And I mean, I think for like the early 2000s, like the new metal horror movies,
that's what they are.
Totally.
They're new metal horror movies.
I love it.
I mean, and this one's not this one is like Power Man 5000 of new metal. It's not even biscuit quality. Like Blair Witch Book of Shadows 2 is so much better than this movie.
Is that the Limp Bizkit of horror movies?
Yeah.
Rob?
Yeah.
And then like if you really want to go like Linkin Park's Reanimation, you have like the remakes of the American horror movies like House of Wax with Paris Hilton. Mm-hmm. And then when Michael Bay threw his hat in and started doing Texas Chainsaw and Friday the 13th, 09, and some of these other ones. So like for me, I remember everybody talking about this, and I think we watched it like on a ripped DVD or something, and it was okay, but I don't remember anybody ever lining up to watch it again.
Yeah.
It just, at least for me, like I said,
a remake, a Japanese sequel, and a crossover with The Ring.
Yeah.
Did it get a crossover?
So in 2015, as an April Fool's joke, they said they were going to do The Ring versus The Grudge, but it was so well received that they greenlit the project. And
really?
It's the Japanese, though. They didn't make an American version of this.
Okay. And it happened, right?
It did happen.
Okay.
It came out. It's supposed to be decent, actually.
Okay. I do remember seeing that. Like the two antagonists versing each other, correct?
Yeah. It's basically some woman watches the videotape, and then the only way she can stop Samara, or whatever her Japanese name is to pit her against Kayako from this movie.
Wow.
Wow. Did you guys see the second one or the 2020 remake that Raimi did? I haven't seen
I watched the 2020 remake, and it's actually, in my opinion, much better.
I thought it was pretty good. I watched
this one. Lynn Shay is in it. There's actually some gore. They actually throw a plot in it a little bit more. Like I said, for like the new metal horror movies, like Jeepers Creepers, there's just the list goes on and on and on of movies that are so much better than. And I think it's because, like, I mean, when we were watching like Japanese horror movies, my buddy was really into them. It was like Takashi Mike and other movies like that were just really out of this world, wild horror movies. Like
there's some crazy ones out there.
Like Tetsuo the Iron Man and stuff. Yeah. I honestly think when they remade it, like the US couldn't translate it.
Yeah.
They couldn't translate the actual feel and vibe of like Ju-on and all the other actual real originals of these movies.
Love horror, man. I love that.
We're gonna talk about it was made by the same people. They just had American actors, so we'll talk about that.
I can get to the numbers though, but I'll just say my first thought. I saw it with Danny. I was genuinely scared the first time I saw it, and it was one of the scary movies I had seen in 2004 up until that point. And I remember coming home that night and being pretty freaked out going to bed. And it's in a modern house. It's in a closet that has an attic in it. There's at that point when I came home, the attic was right outside of my door. So I'm like, oh fuck. But I was genuinely scared when I first saw it. But now I see it again and again. It's like, oh, I remember these visuals and these moments coming up. But like Carmela said, even too, like there wasn't a lot of backstory. Like Doug, he was working at a restaurant. Were they there for him? She was a social worker, so he needed to get a credit to help take care of this lady. Like they could have dove more into that, but I think they just wanted the whole like betrayal of marriage aspect, and then the husband going crazy and murdering his family, and they mostly focused on that more. But I think in Japan, those things, those like unsaid subtext means a lot more in Japan. Totally. I think so.
Like the overwhelming guilt of infidelity or these other things like that, or the way that the father reacted or the husband and stuff. I think maybe some of those things are unsaid and the audience expects it. It's there's something weird between the visuals and the vibes of this movie and how you're supposed to feel. Yeah. Because when you rewatch it again, like I watched it and it did kind of scare me, but I'm not sure if it scared me because it was so hyped up. Everybody was like, "Oh, this new Japanese horror stuff is just so." And so I was already a little like probably primed for it. Yeah,
there was a lot of nonverbals, a lot of just like high tense moments without talking. So it was definitely.
Well, they talk about how Takashi Shimizu, the director, talks about how it's hard to translate to the U.S. and there were some things that were in the film that wouldn't be in it in Japan and vice versa. So in Japan, the lore of the film is sort of just understood and accepted, whereas, for example, in the U.S., they had that whole rooftop scene where the chief has to explain to Sarah Michelle Gellar what the hell's going on. Yeah. And he said that scene doesn't exist in the Japanese version because it's just sort of
like maybe some Americans like needed that drawn out, but I knew what was going on before that point, and some people needed to be.
And actually, I had an experience that was very much like what they wanted because I was streaming the movie on Movie Sphere or something like that, where I got a free trial to watch the movie, and it was one of those really bad streaming jobs where they stripped the movies in movie subtitles. They, you know what I mean? So whenever they were speaking Japanese, I had no translation. Yeah. So large parts of exposition, including at the end of the movie, I didn't get because they're speaking strictly in Japanese. Yeah. And even when I turn on English subtitles, it doesn't pick that stuff up. It just translates to speaking Japanese at the bottom. Yeah. So I missed a lot of that. Now, of course, I understood what was going on. You could tell from my detailed synopsis. But in America, that stuff's got to be more spoon-fed. And to Rob's point, the reveal of the father killing everybody, which was pretty clear by the time they revealed it, it's like 30 seconds long. It's quick flashes. It's like, and I can totally see an American audience being like, who's that guy? Because it's really his first appearance in the movie.
It's my mom. Yeah. You can see
he was in the picture. Remember the picture of his family?
Here? What is this? What's happening? Right. Who's he?
Right, Scotty, you're right. He's clearly part of the family, but he just doesn't appear on screen until then. So you're like, who's that guy? Like,
Well, obviously, you put together like he's the husband that's killing the family that was in the picture.
It's a good thing my mom and dad got divorced so many years ago, because if they were to watch a movie together, it would be her going, "Now who is that?" And my dad going, "Huh? What?
I don't even know what
just happened." Oh my god! It'd just be a nightmare.
Yeah, I actually got a free version. I saw one with ads on Plex, and I had to turn the subtitles on, and it wasn't translating the Japanese, but like towards like the last like 30 minutes of the movie, it started translating it. I'm like, whoa, hey, I can understand.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I watched it on DVD, digital video disc.
Yeah, that's good.
Are you a physical media fan, Danny?
I am not, but it's a funny thing. The same exact thing happened with this film as with when we covered 28 Days Later. I had it from Blockbuster when they used to give you the actual movie in the actual case, albeit in their case that had the actual slipcover on it, to rent in case you wanted to just keep it, and then you could just pay the money. They would just charge your account if you just kept it. And this is yet another movie that I just kept, and it had special features on it. This one looked better, though. It looked a lot better than 28 Days Later.
DVD. I remember that. So, I think that used to be in my collection.
Yeah, I don't know. So,
well, I'll cover some numbers here.
Yeah, what are some numbers of this?
So, The Grudge, which was based on the remake of Shimizu's 2002 Ju-On, of course. It debuted in October 22nd or 24th. There's two sides. 2004. And it opened up with a $39 million opening weekend. By the way, the budget's $10 million, so estimated $10 million. Opened up $39 million in U.S. and Canada, and it grossed $110 million U.S. Canada, and then for a final $187.2 million worldwide.
Okay,
so
they made some money.
They made some money. So they made a second one. There's a franchise now.
There's a third too.
Yeah, I did see that.
That's right. I have seen them all. It's been so long I couldn't even tell you a scene from any of the other ones. So
they've made over 300 million through all three, like 320 million through all three. So not bad.
Let's talk about it. So this is a remake. What happened was Sam Raimi, Rob Taper, Ted Raimi saw Ju-On in theaters. I don't know what theater, where it was playing. I don't know what was going on. But they just fucking loved it and thought we need to bring this to the American public. They didn't mention that maybe there was some hoopla about The Ring and this was similar to it.
Yeah. Well, you don't say that in commentary.
No. So, but they wanted to have the same director. They wanted the film made in the same locale and with the same crew to keep as much of the original vibe as possible. They just wanted to replace the actors with American actors. They wanted it to be in English. And so they hired the writer and I didn't pull the names in front of me. They hired the writer to go ahead and rewrite it in a way that there's a reason why all these Americans are just in Japan. Obviously, I don't know if they did the best job after our opening conversations. But that was the idea.
Steven
so that they could then... What's that?
Steven Sasuko is the writer.
Sasuko, that's right.
Yeah.
But that was the intent. Sam Raimi and their intent was to take something they loved and show it to the American public in the best way they could.
That's the most noble way of doing that, I think.
Right?
Yeah. Keeping it local with the people who already made it, and
so they
give them a piece of the pie.
They did decide to fly everyone out. They shot everything in Japan. They kept the same director, the same crew, and everything. A lot of the actors obviously were local there as well. So, but we'll get to some of them in a second here. But yeah, what was it? They had between the three of them, they had sort of a saying about this movie: "The innocent must suffer, the guilty will be punished, the dead will rise."
Nice,
interesting. So, my real quick thought on that, by the way, is I expected the story of this woman dying to be like much harsher, and like, it was pretty bad, watching your kid drown and everything like that. Mm-hmm. But you sort of, did she have like Bill Pullman's like nail clippings and shit in a diary?
I mean, she was obsessed.
Yeah, she was I mean, that was part of the voiceover I didn't get, but I sort of gathered from the journal and his name repeating and stuff like that. I was like, oh, so she's supposed to be crazy too. So she's like she was fucker nuts to begin with too, right? Like, so she was already cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. So
definitely not smart if you're trying to cover up your infidelity with like the only white man in like a 50-mile radius of where you live, or sorry, kilometers in Japan.
Yes.
Konnichiwa. And so you're gonna like how did you get his fingernail clippings and hair and everything else? And why did Bill Pullman even stay? Like, you just dodged the biggest bullet. Get on a plane and get the hell out.
Yeah,
he's in a hotel room though.
Ignore
right?
those letters. Don't
So
go
they
to the
must
house.
have-
There, like, I mean, you just leave.
Yeah.
Like, and I understand, like, it's supposed to, maybe that's why it doesn't ring as well, like, further down, but the whole basis is in Japan, if some really, really, really bad shit happens, your house will get haunted.
Yeah.
That happens everywhere. Like, that
true.
literally is the blueprint for a haunted house anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
like, I mean, like, that's it.
That's
like,
true.
That's how this works, right? Like nobody's like, man, your house is haunted as fuck. What happened? Just some mediocre stuff, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I think that ghost stubbed his toe one time, waking up in the middle of the night and take a piss, and he's still really, really about it. No, some horrific shit happened, and that's why insane asylums and other places are haunted.
And like I agree with you, but my qualm is why did Bill Pullman even go to the house? Like, he saw all these letters, this girl stalking him. Does he have to go see her for some reason? Like, to say, hey, nope, I'm not going to be a part of this. I'm married. Sorry. Like, why does he even walk in? Like, he's
like those are the answers that we want. Like I said, maybe culturally it's different over there, maybe, but like, I don't know. There's like something, at least for me, it's like the Columbo part. Like, I actually don't care. Like what Carmelo said about how Sarah Michelle Gellar is not really like a real protagonist. I don't really care but like, I'm more interested in what happened to create the ghostesses.
totally.
Yeah.
That's what we get.
Maybe she had herpes.
Yeah, I tell you, one of
That
the
shit
most
doesn't go away.
No, it doesn't.
That's how.
I think one of the creepiest ones is when Sarah Michelle Gellar is going through the pictures, and you just see her in the background of every single photo. I'm like, oh my god, that's freaking.
Yeah. No.
That's creepy as hell.
Well, so we're even starting from the opening here. They talked about the credits, how they liked the design, and Sam Raimi sort of he liked the hair stuff from the original, all the long black hair, Oliver, everything. So you can see it throughout the credits. You can see
Tons
it
of hair.
opening credits. They had Christopher Young is composed the score. He's someone Sam Raimi has worked with before and demanded to have him again on this one. They filmed this whole house was built on a soundstage, Toho Studios in Tokyo.
Wow.
This is the largest, most famous studio in Tokyo. They filmed the Godzilla movies here, Seven Samurai. I mean, everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
Seven Samurai is fantastic.
The house was on the main street from Seven Samurai.
Hell
So
yeah.
Such a good movie.
They built this whole thing. What they actually did was they built the exterior of the house and the first floor on one soundstage, and then they built the whole interior of the second floor on another soundstage.
Wow.
Along with the attic. So it was all to scale, to size, but they could of course remove walls, sneak into areas so they could film. The original Ju-on was filmed just in a house on location, and they wanted to have a little more access to be able to let Takashi do what he wanted with this one and just have a little more wiggle room. So yeah, pretty much everything was on the soundstage. What's funny is the outdoor stuff. There were no extras. I guess it's, I don't know, customary, but not looked upon weirdly to just go out and film in public in Japan. And so when she gets on the subway train, they're just getting on a subway train with a camera and her and filming her.
So you mean that baby was just sitting there crying?
I mean, maybe they picked some of the
subway?
featured extras, but in general, she said, in America, this was Sarah Michelle Gellar talking, saying, in America, people are just sort of awestruck and will wave at the camera and will do whatever. And
Oh yeah.
she said these people are just so buried in their everyday lives that they're just sort of like, whatever who gives a fuck?
They look over and somebody's shooting someone with a camera, like, oh, okay, whatever. That's no big deal.
Same with people, the shots of crossing the street, walking across the street, all that stuff in the beginning. And then later on, when she's running through traffic, they just rolled and she just ran through some traffic. What? They didn't have stunt cars or anything like that. They said it was very different over there.
There, because some of those extras, some of those people in the back are like, I want my SAG credit. I want to get paid for this. Yeah.
This opening house scene where
that's why they picked Sarah Michelle Gellar. Nobody knew who the fuck.
No one knew who she was.
Yeah.
And half the people probably back in 2004 didn't know who she was in the U.S.
Yeah,
that's right. True.
See, if it was Naomi Watts, they would have known.
Well, this was post Buffy, though. This was post Buffy.
Yeah, but that was like WB.
Yeah, but still,
it's pre Scooby Doo. Oh yeah, well he watched Supernatural and stuff. So
you watch Buffy Vampire Slayer, Carmelo?
I've only seen the first season, and I did it to impress a girl, and that was 20 years ago, and I never got back to finishing it. But I want to. It's like a big nerd thing I'm missing in my head.
Yeah.
Did it at least result in a UTTOTPHJ?
Well, naturally. I mean, the UTTOTPHJ was so popular in high school. I mean,
of course.
You didn't
Middle
really
school
do much.
Tell our listeners who might not know what that means.
Oh, who doesn't know what a under the table, over the pants hand job is?
Well, there you go. See, just wanted to make sure if any new listeners are coming in.
Oh, I hope she's not listening to this right now.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this opening house scene with the housekeeper and everything, that was actually initially about halfway through the movie. I don't know why or how they pulled that off, but yeah. So that's where it lived at first. Another thing worth noting is before they started production, they actually did this traditional Japanese purification ceremony by Shinto priests to make sure that everything just went well and was blessed, and because of the subject matter and nothing was. Yeah. So they talked about how the Americans showed up to this ceremony thinking they were just going to be these bystanders letting it happen. But they had to one by one participate in sort of this whole bow there, bow here, take this leaf, do that. And it was sort of cool, I guess. But
heck yeah,
they did that. But a lot of things were different filming wise over there. Like for instance, we move on to this other first scene where we first meet Sarah and Joe. Was Joe the actor's name? We meet their characters in bed in the same bedroom, and the director was a little uncomfortable.
Doug,
even shooting a scene. Doug, okay, yeah. Doug is her. Even shooting a scene with them in the same bed and in the same bedroom, just because of customary things.
Really,
in Japan. Yeah.
Wow, that's funny.
That there was also Ted Raimi
hilarious, because if you ever watch any, they're pretty popular. Those Takashi Miike films and stuff, they're not really uncomfortable with a lot.
No.
If you ever watch like Invader Zim, and there's a couple other ones. It's one scene they're frying one a wok, and they're hanging a guy from hooks and turn his back skin into a bowl. Jeez. And dump boiling fry oil in. I mean, you see everything. So like it is, I guess it's nice to know that maybe there are a couple of conservative directors over there.
Maybe
it's like, oh no. Close. They're in the same bed together, but like next door, they're filming that.
Jeez. Yeah.
These are like huge movies over there too.
Maybe it's just what he wanted for.
We can burn skin off their backs, but there can't be any sex scenes with clothes on. No.
Just sort of their rigmarole while filming was different, because the Ted Raimi talked about getting yelled at because usually in the US when they say lock it up, that sort of means like everyone just, we're gonna shoot now, and then there's a few more things after that, lock it up, hold for sound, just sound speeds, all this kind of stuff. Lock it up is like the last thing this director would say, and Ted Raimi wasn't used to that, so he wouldn't really like completely lock it up. He'd still be chewing on his donut or whatever, and he got yelled at a couple times. He's like, "Oh fuck,
sorry,
I guess that means right now."
I'm used to action.
Yeah. Well, and apparently, I don't like. There's no way. It's just hard to believe this is true. Sarah Michelle Gellar, a couple other actors said that he didn't say action at first. Like they would just have the loud clapping of the clapboard, and then they were expected to just start. And so they had to tell him, "Can you please say action? Like, can you just say action, and then we'll start?" And he was like, "Okay." He actually didn't really speak English. They had a translator on set, and she did most of the translating. He spoke a little bit, but there's a huge language barrier between the director and the whole crew and the actors on this.
So after they'd cut, they'd have to go talk to them. Was that good? And then they translate it through the translator. That'd be tough.
They talked about how some of the direction was a little unclear until they had gone back and forth. He would say, "Oh, be more weak" in the scene, and then it would come out that really he was saying like be more vulnerable, or he would say look more frightened, things like that. So yeah. And they still had to take off their shoes in the house, even though it was a set. They still wanted to. Yeah, the customary of taking off of the shoes was still a huge deal, even when going into a pretend house. So they had tons of shoes. I saw video.
Really?
Tons
the
of shoes.
Pretend house has the same response for them.
Yeah.
I saw those slippers lined up. I mean, even in the first scene when the whole family comes
but
in.
I saw some behind the scenes where everyone else must keep their shoes, the crew and such, and it was just piles of shoes just hanging out.
Oh my God. So they were shooting the film with socks and or barefoot. The cinematographer was holding the camera.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, moving on to the film. Sort of a funny little note. Sarah Michelle Gellar starts out a scene by hanging some laundry, and they had to do a few takes because she like never hung laundry in her life. And the director was like, "You don't look natural hanging laundry." So I grew up in Manhattan. We don't hang dry our laundry.
I thought that in Manhattan they hang dry the laundry like out the window. They don't have enough room for dryers.
Maybe in the 50s.
Yeah. Hey, I hung dry my laundry when we were in Spain because they didn't have any dryers there. Just washing machines.
The boy, the little Asian boy that Rob's afraid of, actually hates cats, and of course they had to have him handle
as you
a cat
should
most of the time.
As you should.
Well, he is
except
like
for Chris.
He's like a cat within a cat. Yeah.
Chris is the only cat I can.
Chris just exists in the background.
Chris is around.
He does much more than that. Chris has his own vibe. Like Chris is the vibe.
He's Scotty's cat. For those
he sets the tone in the room when he walks in. Like everyone bow down to Chris, the Persian goddess. God.
He'll scare the shit out of you on your nightstand in the basement at 3:00 in the morning. I'll give him that.
Yes, he will.
Will he open his mouth and go?
He is. Yeah, he is silent.
Well, speaking of that, I guess it's pretty apparent in the movie, but part of the lore is supposed to be that the kid and the cat died and then became one.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like
but see, they don't explain any of that to us.
Well, Rob, the Japanese
I kind of got the
that.
point there.
I got that. I mean, I got that the cat was a ghost. I didn't realize it became one, but I guess it makes sense.
Somehow they melded somehow.
Yeah, he's like a boy cat. They came together and they're one now.
Every time he opens his mouth,
I just thought the dad murdered somebody on the spectrum.
well,
there's that too. Yeah. Well, the cat's here too. I'm gonna fucking draw the cat too.
Yeah. They although some of this movie seems CGI heavy, Takashi tries, and in Japan they try to do everything for real, but not just effects, things like all the pictures in the movie, whereas in the US they would Photoshop all of them. They actually had the actors go out, take all these pictures and do photo shoots.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. They just that was real. When they're listening to someone on the message machine, that's the message machine playing that thing, because they would usually just do that in ADR.
Back in ADR.
Yeah,
exactly.
Wow, that's cool.
And then, although there is a lot of CGI add-ons, a lot of what Kayako, the our antagonist does is she's doing that. She's sort of a contortionist. For example, the first time we sort of see a lot of hair, a lot of black when she is in the bedroom and the crazy lady's in there and Sarah Michelle Gellar looks over her shoulder. They have her on like a platform, some wires, but she's contorting her body as well.
Wow.
It's painted black, has a ton of black all over her, has the long hair wig on. And they did add some things in post, obviously. But she's doing all that. And they talk about how, like, the famous scene when she's crawling down the stairs, that's just her on some hardwood ass stairs.
Damn,
Obviously, I think it's obvious they did some frame rate stuff where he's more sped up, slow down, or jerky. I don't know that a human body could do that, but it's just her crawling down the stairs. And
she fucking made that look creepy. I mean,
she's the same actress from Ju-on as well. So they kept hers in that too.
Mikako Fuji.
And just said there was no complaints from her at all. They were constantly dropping blood in her contacts in her eyes to make her eyes all bloody. They were constantly putting her in these positions with no padding and extra support. So
sounds a lot like another actress I know that will do horrible things to her to make a great movie out of it.
Jesse, of course, in the new Name the Demon. If you guys haven't checked it out yet, we have a Blu-ray live on Kickstarter. You can go there and order it. It's going to be awesome. Yeah,
it is. And by the time you're listening to this, we'll have revealed, because we're already funded. We're overfunding, and we're and thanks to all of you, and we're grateful. So by the time you're listening to this, we'll have revealed that we're doing the VHS copy of the movie. So if you really love physical media, go on to Kickstarter and get yourself a VHS edition of Name the Demon. I think it's fucking awesome.
Dude, that's going to be.
I'm going to have to get my hands on one of those.
We're going to do very limited too.
After living through 2 hurricanes and having no power and internet for like 2 weeks, all awesome for people that like physical media, but fuck physical media. That's just like living in the dark ages.
Because that's what you were living.
That's
on
what you had to live on.
2 weeks.
Oh yeah. Like having to get up and like change your DVD out.
Yep.
And then look into a pile of DVDs.
If you get our VHS, you can rewind it too.
None of these are good.
And see, with me, I have to change like my source input and my surround sound setting.
Yeah.
Well, at least you had it though. Like, what if you didn't have the DVDs or the?
Oh, I didn't have any. I had to go to like Goodwill and places and like $1 a pop and try to find something interesting.
Pick whatever you saw.
I discovered also like DVDs for some reason have regions. I completely forgot about that, so I spent a couple of bucks and got DVDs that were for the Euro region. So they wouldn't play, and no thank you.
Make sure you bring those with you when you go to Europe. Then you can get your money.
Yeah. The guy who doesn't even have a passport. Yeah. I'll be sure to hold on. I'll be sure to hold on to the Da Vinci Code that I bought for $3 from Goodwill that only plays in like South Africa.
That has a quality Hans Zimmer score to it. I'll have you know.
I know, but it also has the same score on Amazon for 99 cents.
It's so good. So the score is so good.
Like. No, I got. So if anybody wants a pile of mediocre horror movies, I will sell them to you.
Okay.
Hey, you might want to keep those. There could be a hurricane.
Nope. Absolutely not. I will read a book.
Yeah. On
a Kindle.
A Kindle. Wow.
With a Kindle?
You have to have physical book media. Book media.
No, my mom introduced me to this thing called a Kindle.
Your mom introduced you to that.
It's brilliant. It's awesome.
Liz
So the hallway they built in the upstairs hallway actually gets smaller and more narrow as you walk further down it. They wanted that visual look when looking down it with the camera.
I could see that.
Also, director Takashi Shimizu does the vocal sound. He is the vocal sound.
That's cool.
What? He's
he is.
That was really creepy.
Nice.
It was a good call. It actually originated in a scene that they cut from the movie.
He's the one that does it. Wow.
She gets her next. So you already talked about this, Carmelo, I think, where it didn't really show how she died, but you assume she gets stabbed or something.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but actually there was a scene showing her die, showing her husband snap her neck in such a way that those were her final gurgling sounds.
Oh, see, that's awesome. That would have been cool.
So much better.
That would have been really neat. Yeah. I think this movie does smack a little bit of a studio cut it down. There's a couple of parts.
So there is a reason they Sam Raimi, they wanted to make it PG-13. That they wanted to do it for a wide audience appeal. They had to cut a lot of shit because of that, including these scenes we're talking about. There is a unrated cut out there, though. I think you can just buy off of Amazon that will include a lot of these scenes in it. But then, and maybe a director's cut is what it is. Sam Raimi was thinking it ran about the same length because then it does leave out some of those exposition scenes, like the rooftop and things like that that they wouldn't have in Japan.
Right.
So I think it is out there. I don't know if that particular scene's in it, but a couple more others are, such as the drowning scene with the boy. There was a lot more to it, and it was cut down drastically because that was a big issue the ratings board had, was harm coming to a child and anything like that. So that was one of the things they lost. But a lot of scenes got cut down.
Maybe there's a little more blood in it too with Yoko. And
there was another scene that got cut. Bill Pullman sees, this is toward the end, he sees the dead Kayako. Then he turns around and walks, and he looks into the bedroom. You don't really see what he sees at that moment. Then he sort of walks away in shock. By the time that Sarah Michelle Gellar walks in, you see what is the kid and the dad, or no, you see the dad's feet hit the wall and sort of hung himself. I guess what it was before is the dad is hung by Kayako's hair, and the kid is actually pushing his legs, like swinging him.
Oh God, that would have been awesome.
That's terrifying. But now wait, now is that meant to imply the kid was alive? Because like Pullman's talking to the kid when he's like, "Oh, I guess your mom's going to be late," and then he goes and looks for her and finds the dead mother. I assume he was talking to the ghost then.
Me too.
The kid was dead already by then. Yeah,
because
I think it's the ghost of the kid pushing the dad. Because what kid would be there pushing his dad legs? Yeah. You know what I mean? Probably the kid looked all pale and fucked up.
That makes more sense.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm assuming that, anyways. Another thing.
Thank you. Yeah, for clarifying.
Another thing about that sequence that's sort of interesting is that Sarah Michelle Gellar and Bill Pullman were never on set at the same time, and so they shot.
They weren't though.
A lot of that back and forth. Although I wonder if it held true at the very last part of that scene where she actually kneels down next to him. I can see the back and forth camera work, and then even her before she kneels down because you don't see her face, but then when she kneels down next to him, I'm almost like they had to have been at this.
Well, she
point.
touches his knee, and then he goes over to open the closet and brushes her shoulder even.
So I don't know how she herself said I wasn't there during this, but maybe it was pertaining literally just to this sequence in the hallway when they're looking back and forth. So that's probably what that was about.
Well, I think some of the other times when they pulled the camera away so quickly from the horror, the light, the gory scenes. So maybe that was a PG-13 move. Like when Yoko, the first caretaker, had her jaw ripped off, and you only see a very glimpse, oh, come on.
Yeah.
But that would have been a lot more brutal if it would have the camera would have just stayed on her for a little bit longer.
This guy who plays the police chief is in a lot of Japanese films. He's in Audition. I haven't watched Audition, but I know it's popular, and a couple others. But he's also a rock star over there. They're really? Mick Jagger or something.
Wow.
So that was interesting to have him on set and everything.
Ryo Ishibashi.
Yeah, he was in LA for 8 years or something doing film there too. So I don't know. But I do think there was a little bit of a language barrier even still with him. The dummies in the bodies in the attic are dummies. They did full body casts on those actors to get their dead bodies up
creepy.
There.
Yeah, they look good for sure.
Yeah. Also, when we get to the end and they're in the morgue, they're in a real morgue. I got a little confused because they talked about using two morgues, one in Japan and then finishing up shots, one in Los Angeles. And they talked about I think the one in the Japan they were in had a couple dead bodies in the same room, and there was sort of a little bit of a weird smell they were having to deal with. And I don't know if it was the one in Japan or the one in Los Angeles. It had a lot of rats in it too.
Oh God.
Maybe Japan. but then for sure at the very, very last shot, it was in Los Angeles, they were saying. So,
but that's like in a hospital room, or that's like, I guess that's a morgue.
They said it was a morgue. They said it was a morgue.
Okay.
So,
and that's when she's walking down.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys noticed her face was like really bloody as she was coming down. And then when they panned to her sitting there, it was very less bloody.
Really?
I just noticed. I'm like, wait, what the hell? She was like bruised, scars, blood. And then it pans her sitting down. And it's like bruises are gone, less blood.
Well, overall, the actors just loved being flown out to Japan. Sarah Michelle Gellar talks about how her and the actor who played the guy were there for a couple days and had basically 2 weeks off and did all this sightseeing and traveling and
nice
and all this stuff. I wonder what Freddie Prinze Jr. thought about that, Rob. Her gallivanting around with her co-star.
I don't know if they were together yet because they got together on Scooby Doo.
Well, you know what?
That's right because she was. Yeah, it has to be when they got together.
This commentary I listened to had Actually, it was less of a clusterfuck than I thought. It has like 7 people on it, and when I first started watching it, it was like, oh, us 7 are here. I was like, oh fuck, like that's way too many people for a commentary,
Right.
But it actually wasn't too bad. It had Sam Raimi, Ted Raimi, Sarah Michelle Gellar, the guy who played Doug, the girl who Carmel's favorite sequence who died in her bed, and then the writer, and there might have been one more. But anyways, a lot of people. But she said my husband on it a couple times, so she must have been married.
Oh,
and this commentary was in 2004. They said so.
Okay, well maybe maybe they were. I can't remember. I don't really know a lot about it, but I do know that they were in the Scooby Doo's together
when they got married.
Yeah. So I think they were.
It says that she filmed her scenes within 3 months in Tokyo, and then
she was there for 3 months. Yeah,
and then she returned for reshoots.
I think they were mostly there, all there for. I think for principal photography was 3 months long in Tokyo.
Nice. She married Freddie Prinze Jr. in 2002.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
a couple years before.
Years.
Yeah.
Oh, Scooby Doo was in 2002.
Oh, wow.
All right.
For some reason, I would think that. Yeah, so for some reason, I think that
somehow she didn't
came out after.
Somehow she missed out on Matthew Lillard.
Oh yeah. Too bad. I don't know. Matthew Lillard, Freddie Prinze Jr. Which
I don't know.
Lillard. I don't know.
They talked about being on set or just being there filming and having weird food, but good food ultimately. But there were American options. They would get takeout from Subway a lot or order Subway delivery there. Nathan's hot dogs, but they said at craft services you had a choice when it came to your daily meal. You could either choose to eat what the crew was eating, which were all locals, or you could have some Americanized food. And the crew, they said that whatever they were eating always had eyes looking back at you, and apparently their train of thought was, if it has eyes, it's fresh. The more eyes, the better.
Oh God!
I mean, I can't disagree with that.
Eyes, the dog eyes, or lobster eyes, fish eyes, whatever.
Yeah,
type of eyes are on there. I don't have a whole lot. That's they didn't. They were yapping too much in this commentary I watched. But I just read a fact that Jason Behr, who played Doug, met Katie Strickland, who plays Susan, I guess the sister of the guy that died.
Southern lady whose name is spelled Kadee.
Yes.
KD.
So Jason Behr and KD Strickland met on the set of this film, and
she's Rob's people.
Yes, she is. They began.
Where is she from?
Let me tell you the fact first. They began dating due to their interest in Japanese culture, which is why they accepted the roles in the film too. And despite not sharing any scenes together in the film, they eventually married 2 years later.
That is why she said 4 times or so on the commentary, and I was just like, what the fuck is she talking about? When they said, oh, why did you bring us to Japan? And she just kept saying, I am so glad that you brought us to Japan. It literally changed.
She's from Georgia.
It's like literally changed my life. It literally changed my life. So that must be what she's talking about.
She met Jason Behr.
She's from Georgia, Rob?
Yeah, the spelling of that name definitely. I felt Georgia.
You felt
Felt Georgia, and then I dug closer, and it is definitely Georgia.
Yep.
There's a lot of KDs and Kaylees and Kaylee like Kaylee, and then Kaylee like Kahleigh. There's a lot of that kind of fuckery in Georgia.
Looks like she's still with Jason Bear. She's still married to him.
She definitely owns a boutique somewhere in a small sleepy town like Thomasville, Georgia.
Yeah.
That loses money consistently, but it's
probably
fun.
owns. Remember we went to that one that older blonde girl was trying to get people.
Oh, now that's Kevin's. That's way different. That's Kevin's makes money now. Kevin's are good people.
I forgot what was even in there.
Everything, guns, dishes. It was.
We were looking at
half,
a couple
half of it like a boutique, and then the other. Oh yeah, puffers, vests. Like it's the kind of place you can go to get like little fox figurine miniatures, and then also like an assault rifle.
Where did you get that?
Fits perfectly.
What was that store that I almost got that puffer? Then that crew member got the puffer.
Oh, that was the Great Outdoors or something in Thomasville, Georgia.
That was like that red, white, and blue puffer, right?
Yeah,
I got one. I ended up going back
after.
Right? Yeah, I bought that Marmot one. I still got it. Yeah, the red, white, and blue one.
See, it had this nice retro coloring to it. Scotty and I were in Thomasville, Georgia, shooting a film.
I told you to get it.
And Rob lived nearby and was hanging out with us. And yeah, we went to that store. And I was like, I might buy this puffer. I was like, I don't know. And Rob's like, I don't know. I might buy it because they had his size. They had my size. And I was like, nah, I'm going to wait. And then the next day, one of the crew members on the film was wearing it. He
probably bought that one that you were wearing
that day.
Probably bought the one you tried on.
Yeah.
Funny story. I still have never worn it because I have like my puffer collection. I have that puffer hasn't gotten into rotation yet.
I live in Colorado and I only own 2 puffers, and Rob has like
that's
12.
Oh, minimum, and that's not counting.
Oh my god!
Oh my god!
12?
I only have
Holy
one.
Shit!
I have one.
Rob,
well, I know for a fact that I have 4 black puffers.
Carmelo, do you have any
nano puff? I have a thicker puff.
I don't.
And I have.
Carmelo's
I have to have the puffer.
Yeah. His winters are way worse.
But see, Danny inspired me because he was like, "I'm not sure about the hoods." I said, "You know what? I'm not either." So I bought those same ones again without hoods.
Oh my god, my 2 have hoods. Both of them do. I don't have any without hoods.
I know, but you put me up to it. So
I just wasn't sure. I just wasn't. I mean, I don't know that anyone in Florida should even own a puffer.
When it's rainy up in the Panhandle, like it was in Thomasville, a puffer.
Yes, yeah.
I've discovered that as long as you can cut the wind and the rain out, that's all you need. Then
that's true.
Then that REI guy got me turned on to Cotopaxi.
Yes, more expensive, bougie Colorado brands.
Yep, and so I got that one and one more Cotopaxi. So I got at least 7 Patagonias, 4 or 5 REIs, and
Rob's got a puffer problem. Someone send help.
Puffer problem.
Oh no, I got to figure it out.
Hat problem.
I got to figure it out.
Just send me a couple of them.
The hat problem's getting way
it's
out
like
of control.
Too old now. I need to buy.
I only own like 5 hats.
Well, again, those are rookie numbers. On my desk right now, there's at least 20.
All right. Well, let's move away from Rob's wardrobe.
I see Katie Strickland's in Chicago Fire currently in 3 episodes. She's Monica Pascal.
I've never watched that show.
I never did either. I just noticed this. That's what she's doing.
All right. Well, let's move on down the line to what did you watch?
I watched The Grudge. It was great.
Yeah. You know what? We missed this segment last time, I believe, and we haven't done it in a while. I've watched so many things I've completely forgot about. But more recently, I did just watch Apartment 2A or 7A. Apartment 7A. It's on Hulu. Or I think it's on Paramount Plus actually. It's awesome. It's a prequel to Rosemary's Baby is what you find out at the end.
I think that is on Hulu.
What's it called? Apartment 7A.
Oh yeah,
Kathleen was talking about that one.
Yeah, that's why I watched it. Cousin Kathleen was talking about it, and it has the same girl from, I don't know, she was in Ozark, which I've never watched, but she's also plays in that Inventing Anna that Shannon was all about.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Oh,
Same
that
girl.
Inventing Anna is good.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Liz watched
Shannon
that.
said it was awesome. It's the same actress.
That is
the same girl.
It's fantastic.
Yeah,
But
what's her name?
but you guys should watch this movie.
Julia Garner.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. It's a nice little. It's got an old fashioned vibe to it. It actually takes place in, it's a prequel to Rosemary's Baby, so it's like the 60s or whatever.
cool.
Yeah, it had some Black Swan vibes because she's a dancer, and there's some dark stuff, culty, satanic stuff going on. So it's pretty good. I also, been watching some other stuff too. I don't even. Oh, I just watched Trap last night. It was all right.
How was that? Oh.
Yeah, the M. Night Shyamalan.
It was a short sleeve shirt under long sleeve shirt under short.
Josh Hartnett. Yeah, he actually.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
It's hard to. He ended up doing a pretty good job, I thought, but it's hard to understand if some of the acting in it was a little bit weird. But I'm wondering if that was M. Night Shyamalan being like, "Here's how you should act and deliver this line," because he's sort of.
I like that cabin movie M. Night did with.
It was Batista,
the Wrestler. Yeah, Batista.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was pretty good.
I want to watch the new. What is it? Evil, Say No Evil, or whatever with the guy I used to have a crush on before, Tom Hardy. There you go. That's the one.
That one looks pretty
But
good.
everybody's been.
What happened?
Tom Hardy happened. God, I love Tom Hardy. I went on a deep rabbit hole with Tom Hardy pet videos and dog videos and all the charity work he does for dogs.
Yeah,
he's a big BJJ guy now, Rob. You can come train with me.
Yeah, I did. Didn't he just win?
He won like a tournament, like a local tournament he went to or something.
Because they were interviewing him about something, and talking about his he had just won it, but he had also brought a French bulldog.
Nice.
To the interview.
So the interview
went off the rails immediately.
Oh shit! Everyone was paying attention to his bulldog instead.
The reason I briefly, before I leave the subject, was talking about the slightly awkward but looked like a choice acting in Trap was, I think that's when you watch The Happening with Mark Wahlberg. He's like, especially him and others, it's like weird performances. You guys know what I mean? Like
certain movies definitely have a very strange. Yeah, like John Leguizamo in The Happening is such a weird choice for the role, but then like in the combination, like you said, of how like Mark Wahlberg and the rest of the actors interact, it's really odd.
It's just weird.
Is he Mark Wahlberg in it, or he doesn't play Mark Wahlberg?
He's in The Happening. He's in it, and he just, normally he's like an acceptable actor. He's fine, but he's just delivering lines very weirdly and very
really.
And that's sort of how the Trap was as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think
he has his daughter playing like a big role in it. M. Night Shyamalan does too, and she does okay, I guess.
Oh, I remember The Happening. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
People were online talking about how you need to go back and revisit it, that it's like a sleeper now. No,
really, that
was just to torture people. Because I tried.
You tried.
I was like, it's so much worse than I remember. Actually, like it's. And I think Danny's right. It's off-putting. It's just strange. Yeah. It's not really the story or the plot. It's how. It's how it's not even lines. Presented. It's like how they deliver the lines or how everybody. It's really weird. I'm not sure what he was trying to do with it.
Yeah. Well, what else? What did anyone else watch?
I watched Thanksgiving finally. I know it's a year later, but I watched that.
Good.
It is good. There's some good effects in it. Good old campy slasher horror movie, and they do not let off the camera. Does not let off the gory stuff. So I did like that.
That's good.
We just had to cover.
We need more sequels of that.
Yeah, I hope so. It was good.
More holidays.
It was good. Yeah,
or more Thanksgivings. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that was definitely, and it's that time of the year again, so definitely a good one to rewatch.
Nice.
Mellow?
Is it still on Netflix?
Yep, it's on Netflix. Yep.
Okay.
I watched The Pope's Exorcist.
Nice.
Finally.
Great.
Oh, you didn't
see it? You didn't see it?
I didn't see it. I finally saw it. It was fantastic.
Good shit, right?
A lot. Oh, terrific movie.
What I told you, it has some of the same demonology, huh?
It does have some of the same demonology, which lends credibility to the fact
As
that
Name the Demon.
It's even part of the plot that they need to identify the demon and stuff. And
that's right.
And somebody gets his ear bit off. It's very similar to
I forgot about that.
Yeah, he gets his ear bit off too.
You just gotta love Russell Crowe showing up on a Vespa and wrecking shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude.
And I love how he like opens this thing in the ground. And he's like, let's see what's in there. Boom.
Yeah.
And throws a match into this underground.
I love that he like learned Italian. He actually really acted in this movie. He didn't like ham it up. He actually really put in a good effort.
It's good.
His accent's on point.
Rob and I said that his Italian is better than an Italian actor's Italian.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh yeah, there are other actors around him that were just piss poor. I mean, really showing off.
Yeah, I mean that's the part that is unbelievable is that it is so believable.
For sure.
Yeah, but no, I really enjoyed that. I'm trying to think if
I actually saw. Sorry, now you're talking about it. I saw a review that said "Name the Demon" was better than Pope's Exorcist.
Oh, really?
I'm like, what? I saw.
That's awesome.
Like, this is better than Pope's Exorcist, at least. All the
you know what? And I did see another
what?
review that said something like, "At least this Exorcist movie finally is one that doesn't have fucking Russell Crowe in it."
Yeah, it was something like. It was the same one or it was a different one.
I saw another review.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but hey, thank you.
I saw another review that said, "Oh, that guy playing the husband was way more handsome than Tom Hardy."
I saw that as well. Yeah.
So now I know I'm going to have to go there and start flagging reviews on Amazon.
I don't think I watched much else. I've been watching some television. I've been watching Superman and Lois, which is pretty good.
Nice.
The baby.
But Dean Cain.
I haven't been watching anything because you're thinking of Lois and Clark. This says Tyler Hoechlin in it. I've been too busy to watch anything because I've been busy with our awesome
Another Superman show besides Dean Cain.
That's true.
Yeah, you've been with your boy, man, with your son. You gotta now how fatherhood is. You can't always watch like R-rated horror.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at this age, he can do whatever, right? I mean,
he's still a baby.
Well, I face him toward me when the bad stuff is on. I'm like,
he'll go over
you can look at me while I watch.
You're very responsible in that regard.
You didn't watch any like go-to Halloween movies, guys? Like like Friday the 13th, Elm Street, Shining.
No, that night I watched.
I worked all through Halloween. I was in.
Okay.
Where was I? Miami. I think I was in Miami for Halloween.
Oh, you know what? I could talk.
Oh, the food in Miami. The Cuban food's so good.
Oh, good shit, right?
All right.
Oh my god, the empanadas.
Better than the Columbia?
Yes. Actually, yes. I'm not even going to hold back. The Columbia's got fantastic food. There's like no getting around it. But there's something about like a hole in the wall, like Havana Cafe, just like $1.50 empanadas and just loading up on them in a Cuban sandwich.
That sounds pretty good.
It was so good.
Wow. Over Halloween I was finishing that series on Netflix called Archive 81. It was pretty good.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why. Shannon was reading a book and I had to find like an interim show just to kill on my own, and that had 8-hour-long episodes. I was like, let's check this out. And it was pretty decent. It came out, I don't know, 5-6 years ago on Netflix, and I remember seeing it looking interesting at the time. And
Nice.
it was produced by James Wan. He didn't direct it or write it or anything, but produced by James Wan.
That's good.
It was a pretty good little show. If you guys looking for something to watch, Archive 81.
Hell yeah!
So It's like a sci-fi horror sort of.
I was going to start Midnight Mass soon, so you told me that was good.
Yeah,
You're late to the party.
I know, man. I need to get going.
Carmel, you haven't seen that either?
No, I haven't.
Some really good performances, and especially by the priest. When you watch it, the priest does an amazing job.
Yeah, gotta watch
all of Mike Flanagan's stuff is fantastic.
It's so good. I was just thinking about Oculus. Have we covered that?
Yeah.
No, we haven't, but it's one of my favorites.
You just posted about Dr. Sleep too, and I was like,
Dr. Sleep.
So good. Oh man, what a great movie.
God.
So great. Yep. Let's go back to all these Cool. I think that wrapped up.
Well, I watched Black Cab with Nick Frost. It's pretty good.
Rob.
What is that? What is Black Cab? I haven't seen that.
It's like a supernatural thriller. It's a kidnapping thing. Nick Frost plays the bad guy, and actually he does an amazing job.
And it's good. The movie's good.
It's good. It's good. The ending's not wonderful because it's like a supernatural thriller. It's a little mind warpy, but it's good. And then I'm not sure if it's been so long since I've been on the show. VHS Beyond is.
Oh yeah. Did we talk about that? Because I did watch it.
That's hands down, without a doubt. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. That is the best VHS movie ever made. And then I also think it's probably one of the best, and it's probably one of the best anthology films since I
don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's the best one.
Dude,
it was good.
Airplane.
It was pretty good.
The airplane
was fucking awesome. I thought that was
Did you see it?
It was pretty good.
I watched it, and
nice.
that airplane segment alone is arguably one of the greatest segments in quote found footage history, period.
I mean, it was pretty
I don't know how they pulled it off. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's
and I was never bored.
I love the first segment.
Justin Long. Justin Long directed
that segment.
The puppy dog.
That's
the
only
puppy
reason
dog segment.
Justin Long and his brother.
I loved it.
Did it?
Yeah.
Justin Long and his brother.
Did you like that one, Rob?
Did it? Yeah.
I just thought it was so wild and ridiculous.
It was terrible and
so much
to do with
fun.
The theme. There was no aliens in it.
Yeah, I don't know if that was one of my least favorite ones.
Still, I thought it was. I
liked the first one. It was super fucking graphic.
The first one is great, but this one to me just takes it over the edge. I thought it was really, really good. And then in comparison, I even went back and started watching all the VHSs. And really, it's this one and the first one are really the only ones I would ever revisit. But VHS Beyond was just, I think it was fun.
Well, did you like
such a fun movie to watch? I liked every segment. There was not one bad segment. Katie Seagal and Flanagan did the segment. I mean, that segment's
scary. Actually scared me. The other one
she did which segment did she do? The
space one. The woman gets stuck in the spaceship.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she keeps on transporting.
It definitely plays with your mind. I wish I know why they did it, but I kind of wish you saw a little. It's kind of hazy almost, and that's intentional,
right?
I think if you watched it I think I watched it during the day. I think if you watched it at night, super high def, you would be able, you'd be able to see the contrast more and what's happening in it. Yeah. But like I said, all together, to be excited about a VHS movie, and this thing was such a sleeper. It just on my Instagram feed, VHS Beyond is available on Shudder tonight at 8 p.m. I'm like, shit, that's something to watch. I watched it the next day, and I was like, I just was floored. I mean, it was fun. It was really, really good. All the stories were good. I know some people may not like the puppy thing as much or the cute, whatever, the dog groomer lady, but I still think all together, if you look at VHS 99 and VHS, those movies are just awful. Arguably, like 2 out of 7, 2 stories out of 7 are okay. This one keeps you going. I really liked it. I think
the pop star one is the most VHS esque segment.
Yes.
Sort of fits in with their previous programming.
Oh, classic.
It was kind of like the Black Mirror. It was like a mix between the Black Mirror, VHS, creep, and I really I dig Black Mirror. I think Black Mirror is one of arguably the best kind of horror thriller sci-fi weird TV show. I'm not sure if they're doing any more, but Black Mirror is something I can always
I've never watched them.
I watched Black Mirror.
I've watched one episode, the first one.
I haven't seen them either.
Well, and there's some that are more on very exploitative or they're not your vibe. But that's the best part about Black Mirror. Every single episode's completely different than the other one, so you just kind of work your way through it. And there are the production qualities. That's one thing with the VHS Beyond. I thought the production quality was incredible.
I think they've moved up a tier now, and with as far as budget levels go. And I wonder if they're
it's like Shudder wrote them a check.
Yeah,
It's like
really is.
Shudder actually came there. This movie Beyond looks like it's the equivalent of every single sequel's budget.
Yeah, it really does.
And it's good, but it's good. You don't feel like they wasted money on anything. Everything
I'm on
about
board.
it
Sounds like they're going to keep doing them. They already greenlit the
I
next
hope
one.
so.
Right?
There's so many of them too.
I think that was like the biggest mistake looking back. I'm not saying we need to like delete Michael Myers, but really, I don't like him that much. Jason guy, but like I miss that. I miss having
we talk about that all the time. It should have been an anthology.
Yeah, once a year, a unique Halloween movie.
Yeah.
And I think the idea of having the license of the name Halloween takes so much off of the idea aspect of writing it. You're not having to come up, you're just like, we need a Halloween movie. Go.
It could have been.
And you make hour and 20 minute, hour and 30 minute, once a year, once every other year, you get a Halloween, whatever. And because some of these anthologies and VHSs and Black Mirror, you're like, God, I wish it was a movie. I wish this was an hour 30.
Why is it over? Crap.
Hubie Halloween could have been a Halloween movie.
They're making a sequel.
Are they?
Making a sequel to Hubie Halloween. Yes, they are. And I am so excited.
That's going to be a new
good.
tradition now. I just watched it again this last Halloween.
Oh, I watched Hubie Halloween. I did watch that at least.
Oh, it was so good.
I've at least watched Hubie Halloween at least with no lie at least 20 times.
No, get the fuck out of here.
What the
Easily.
you just had on the background.
Yeah, I mean, easily. Like it ran nonstop last year for Halloween. That's like my a Christmas story for Halloween. Because I don't know what people watch. I know like Terrifier came out. I don't like Terrifier. I think Art the Clown's stupid as shit.
Rob, me too.
I don't watch it.
So much in common.
I've never seen him, so I should.
It's just not good. And I guess this one's Christmas themed on Halloween, and it's just stupid. I just don't like it. And then, I've seen Trick or Treat. God, it's still fantastic, but like I think last year's I'm burned out.
Yeah,
it's like it's fun to find something. Like I think VHS Beyond was really, really fun. It's not Halloween, but it's good. Now Thanksgiving's fantastic.
Yeah,
we need more Thanksgivings. That's a great old school
slasher film.
Yeah,
there's a slasher. There's a whodunit. There's there's a little mystery. There's a little this. There's a little that, and I love the comedy in it. I love the whole. Yeah. Black Friday. I love all of that stuff.
Yeah, I haven't watched Black Friday. It's on my list. I gotta watch it.
Black Friday's in Thanksgiving though.
Well, have you seen Black Friday, Rob? With
no, I've
Bruce
seen
Campbell?
clips of it.
Yeah.
No, I saw clips
I
of it.
see that.
Oh, that was one thing I tried to watch, and I'm kind of into it. The Bruce Campbell show, Hysteria, with Julie Brown.
I wanted to check that out too.
It's not Bruce Campbell's fault at all. It's just by like episode 4, this shouldn't be this long. This is like one of those things where like we need 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Like it really, like I kind of tuned out of it right now. I'll probably pick it back up later, but like 1, 2 are fantastic. Episode 1 and 2. And then like 3, 4, and 5 are all basically a really slow singular episode. So, and Bruce Campbell's in it. He's good, of course, but like there's not enough of him. I'll tell you, there's not enough Bruce Campbell in it.
Couldn't afford that much Bruce Campbell.
That came out in 2021. I gotta see that.
No, I thought it just came out. Hysteria. Oh, you're talking about
Black Friday. Black Friday.
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I was talking about Hysteria.
I did see The Heretic with Hugh Grant.
I really want to see that too, coming out in Heretic. Yeah. All right. Well, we could ramble about horror movies all day.
Yeah.
So
we can wrap it up.
People do download to listen to us ramble about horror movies.
That is true. All right, guys. Well, yeah, we'll wrap it up. We haven't talked. I don't know what we're going to be covering next, but we'll do something. We're seeing if the schedule works. We may have an off week because our next episode would be on I think, we do them every couple weeks, would be around Thanksgiving. We might take that one off, but we'll let you know. You might see an episode, you might not. It'll be a surprise. So. All right, guys. Well, thanks for joining us. Check out, if you haven't already, Name the Demon on Amazon. We'd appreciate if you leave a review. And also
IMDb
check out
as well.
Yeah, IMDb. Check it out on Kickstarter if you want the Blu-ray physical copy. There's going to be some awesome stuff. VHS, T-shirts. The Blu-ray is getting an awesome magnetic box that it goes in, basically, with some awesome artwork. So check that out. And yeah, so thank you guys. Also, I never really asked, but rate and review the podcast if you can. Go on Apple Podcasts, leave us a good review. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time.
Later, guys.
Later.
Don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative.
Oh, yes. There will be blood.